Dark clouds gathered over the Pacific Ocean, but they had nothing to do with the weather. A strange pulse had spread across the sky like an invisible ripple. Air traffic was grounded, satellites lost signal, and all global radio systems buzzed. With static inside a secure lab deep underground in Geneva, a young woman stared at her screen. Dr. Kara Mendez was a quiet scientist with sharp eyes and a restless mind. She wasn't supposed to be on duty, but something had pulled her there. Something in her gut told her that today would be different. Suddenly her screen lit up. Signal deep, raw, not from any known satellite or radio source had entered. Earth's airspace. It was repeating over and over again, but it wasn't noise. It had structure, rhythm, and something else. Symbols. Kara's heart skipped a beat. She'd seen these symbols before in an old artifact found in Siberia, marked unclassified and locked away. She tapped her headset. "Director Liu, I think you should come down here." Within minutes, people filled the lab, scientists, analysts, military officers, staring at the signal on Kara's screen. The symbols repeated like a strange language, and in the background, a countdown began. The voice in the signal wasn't human. It was deep, metallic, and echoing like it came from the belly of space itself. "You have been marked." The room went silent. The signal spread fast. Every country on Earth picked it up. Internet, TV, phones, radios, LL played the same voice. Over and over, panic swept across cities. Was this an invasion? A warning? A trick? World leaders held secret meetings. The United Nations called for calm. But the countdown ticked on faster than anyone expected. The numbers were not human standard, but Kara cracked the pattern. They had only 24 hours at a hidden base in the Nevada desert. The world's top minds formed a response team. They called it Unified Command. Kara was flown there immediately, along with a retired soldier named Rain Vos, who once fought in secret wars involving experimental tech. No one trusted anyone. Satellites dropped from orbit like falling stars. Ocean tides shifted without warning. Gravity itself seemed confused. Kara sat across from General Hawk, the man leading the Earth-wide defense. "This is no ordinary signal," she said. "It's not just a message, it's a kind of code, a command. And I think it's targeting us, not just Earth, but people with a certain genetic pattern." "What kind of pattern?" Hawk asked. Kara looked down. "Mine." There was silence. Then Rain spoke. "You think they're coming for you?" "No," Kara said, her voice low. "I think they've already been watching me. And people like me." That night, as the countdown neared 0, something strange happened. All the power grids went dark. Cities went silent. And then the sky lit up, not with lightning, but with something far more terrifying. Massive ships, the size of mountains, appeared above the Earth. They didn't fly in. They were already there, hidden by technology beyond human understanding. Their hulls shimmered like liquid metal, and strange symbols ran across their surfaces. The ships made no sound. They did not fire. They simply hovered. And then a pulse spread across the globe. People fell to the ground, clutching their heads. Pain spread like wildfire through the population. But not everyone. Kara stood tall. Rain held his ground. A few others remained standing while billions collapsed. "What's happening?" Rain asked, watching as people screamed and fainted. Kara looked at the sky. "They've activated something. Neural suppression. They're trying to shut down human thought. But why? Why silence Earth without a fight?" A voice filled the sky again. This time it wasn't from a radio or screen. It echoed in every mind. "You are unstable. You are not ready. Earth is quarantined." High above, the ships released long, glowing beams. These beams didn't destroy cities. They formed a grid around the planet, cage of energy, unseen by the eye, but powerful enough to block all signals in and out. Earth was now a prison. Kara, Rain, and a handful of others were immune. Their brains resisted the dampening effect. Kara suspected the answer lay in her blood. She needed answers, and fast. They moved toward the old observatory at Mt. Kepler. where some ancient tech had been buried during the Cold War. On the way, they passed cities in chaos, and people wandered the streets, confused and silent, their eyes hollow. When they reached the mountain, they found a locked vault buried in rock. Kara pressed her hand against the scanner. To everyone's shock, it opened. Inside was a control room, dusty, cold, but alive. The machines booted up the moment she stepped in. Lights blinked, systems hummed. A hologram formed in front of her. Man appeared, dressed in strange armor. His face was familiar, too familiar. He looked like Kara. The hologram spoke. If you are seeing this, then the silence has begun again. Earth's potential cannot be hidden forever. The prison will fail. And you must lead. Rain stepped back. What is this place? Ada couldn't answer. The machines were far too advanced for Earth's known tech. They reacted to her presence. Opening systems locked for thousands of years, she found files labeled Stellar Archive, Origin Protocol, and Containment Defense. One file showed a map not of Earth, but of space. Earth was marked in red, surrounded by a zone labeled Dangerous, Do Not Engage. Labeled it. Who made this map? Kara realized something terrifying. Earth wasn't under attack. It was being contained like a virus. It's not because of what humans had done, but because of what they could become. This isn't a war, she said. It's a lockdown. Rain stared at the hologram. Then what are they afraid of? Kara turned to him. Us. They activated one last file, titled Awakening. It played a final message. The memory of Earth was wiped. The truth was buried, but evolution cannot be stopped. If the cage falls, the stars will burn again. Suddenly alarms blared. The alien ships had detected the signal inside the mountain. The ground shook. One of the ships fired a beam at the mountain. Rain grabbed Kara and ran as the walls collapsed. The vault sealed itself, protecting the data, but they barely escaped alive. Outside, the sky was red. A second pulse spread across Earth, stronger, deeper. But this time something was different. The pulse echoed back. From deep under the Earth, something answered. A vibration, an ancient hum, moved through the ground. And far across the solar system, sensors on Mars picked it up, on a long-dead satellite orbiting Saturn. A light blinked after thousands of years, and somewhere in the galaxy, a dark figure, sitting on a throne of bones, opened its eyes. The children of Earth have stirred, it whispered. The silence is broken. Back on Earth, Kara looked at the burning sky. She didn't feel fear anymore. She felt something else. Something growing inside her, a voice echoed in her mind. You are not a prisoner. You are the key. The sky had changed. What once held clouds and sunlight now shimmered with lines of light, like cracks in space itself. The alien ships still hovered above cities across Earth, unmoving and silent. But the people below had changed. They walked. Slowly, eyes blank, as if their minds were somewhere else. Children didn't cry. Dogs didn't bark. Cars sat idle in the streets, their owners standing beside them, not knowing where they were or what they were doing. Kara Mendez stood on the edge of the cliff, overlooking the dead city below. Her heart pounded in her chest. Rain Voss stood beside her, his face like stone. They're not dead, Kara whispered. But they're not. Here, Rain nodded. It's like their minds had been caged. She looked up at the massive ship floating above the skyline. They said we were dangerous. They said we were unstable. Rain glanced at her. You think they're right? Kara didn't answer, was trying to understand. In the mountain vault, she saw recordings from a forgotten past of people like her, leading fleets across the stars. Something had happened. Enough to erase Earth's memory and lock it inside a cage. Now, that cage had activated again. The chains were tighter, but Kara felt something else, a connection, a strange sense that something deep inside her was waking up. That night she couldn't sleep. She sat near a broken radio tower, holding the small data disk she pulled from the vault. It was warm in her hand, glowing faintly. Suddenly, static came through the broken radio. Her eyes widened. No signal should have been able to pass through the alien field. She adjusted the dials. The voice was weak, but clear. "This is Station Eco 7, coordinates 47 by 19. If anyone is hearing this," it cut out. Kara jumped to her feet. "Someone's broadcasting." Rain ran over. From where? She showed him the disk. "The signal's bouncing from inside Earth, underground." He looked doubtful. "Could be a trap, or a survivor," Kara said. They packed quickly. Before sunrise, they moved through abandoned roads toward the source of the signal. They found an old research center sealed behind metal doors. Had once belonged to a private space company, long shut down. Inside, the lights still worked. That was the first strange thing. The second was that the systems were still online, even though the facility had been closed for over 20 years. Girl was already inside. She sat in front of a giant screen, typing fast with one hand, a rifle slung over her shoulder. Her hair was cut short, eyes sharp. "You're not drones," she said without turning. Rain raised his hands slowly. "We're not here to fight." She spun around. "Good. I'm tired of killing things I don't understand." Kara stepped forward. "I'm Dr. Kara Mendez. This is Rain." The girl nodded. "Ari, what is this place?" Kara asked. Ari smiled. "The last place on Earth where the sky can't hear you." Kara's eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" Ari stood and pointed at a strange machine built into the floor. This was designed to block satellite tracking, but it works on whatever is up there too. "You built this?" "No," Ari said. "I finished it." The three of them sat together and shared stories. Ari had survived the first wave of the neural attack by accident. Her brain had rejected a medical implant years ago. That same rejection kept her free from the mind control pulse. "I've been watching everything," she said. "The ships, the cage around the planet, the signals. They aren't just jamming us. They're scanning us." "For what?" Kara asked. Ari looked at her carefully. "For people like you?" Kara felt a chill. "What am I?" Ari turned to her screen and brought up images. Data patterns, DNA charts, brain scans. "You're different. Your brain has signals that move faster than normal. You respond to frequencies even dogs can't hear. You feel things seconds before they happen. You're not alone. There are others." Kara leaned in. "How many?" Ari hesitated. "Counted 16, maybe more. Scattered, hiding. Some of them are waking up. Like you." Rain folded his arms. "And the aliens know this." Ari nodded. "They've been tracking people like you for years, watching, waiting. And now they've locked the planet to stop whatever's inside you from reaching out." Kara's voice dropped. "They're not protecting the galaxy from us. They're protecting the truth from us." That night, Kara had a dream more. Maybe it was a memory. She stood on a metal bridge, surrounded by stars. A man with golden eyes spoke to her. "They fear what you can become. That fear is ancient. You were not meant to be small." She woke up sweating. Suddenly, alarms blared in the facility. Ari jumped to her console. "We've been pinged," she said. "They found us." "How?" Rain asked. Kara's voice trembled. "They found me." The roof shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Outside, a ship dropped from the sky, smaller than the giant motherships, but fast like a hunting dog. It fired a beam at the mountain. The entrance collapsed. "We're trapped," Ari shouted. Kara pulled out the data disk. "We have to get this out. There's a tunnel system," Ari said. "But it's not safe. We don't have a choice." They ran. The tunnels were dark and narrow. At one point the floor collapsed and Rain had to carry them across a broken pipe, over a deep shaft. Above them, strange sounds. Echoed machines, searching, scanning. After hours of crawling, they reached the surface. Night had fallen, but the sky still glowed with the alien grid. They were in the forest now, far from the cities. For now, safe. But something was wrong. Rain stopped walking. "Do you hear that?" The others listened. A low hum, not from above, but from below. The ground shook then. The earth cracked open and a giant hand of metal reached out. A robot 20 meters tall climbed from underground. Its body was rusted, its face blank. But on its chest was a symbol Kara recognized. "From the vault. It's one of ours," she whispered. The robot turned its head slowly toward her. Then it spoke in a deep voice. "Commander recognized. Orders." Rain's jaw dropped. "It knows you." Kara stepped forward. "Status." "The," robot replied. "Mission incomplete. Awakening delayed. Galactic threat still active. Awaiting defense protocol." Ari stepped back. "What is this thing?" Kara looked at the robot and felt something move inside her. Memory she'd known, a voice she'd never heard before. "This is a sentinel," she said. "It's one of Earth's guardians. Built before we forgot who we were." The robot kneeled, causing the trees to shake. "Your command, Commander Mendez?" Kara turned to the others. "They tried to silence Earth, but they missed something. Something hidden, something deep." Ari asked, "What are you going to do?" Kara looked at the stars above. "Wake them all." The robot, the Sentinel, stood like a mountain under the forest canopy, waiting for Kara's command. Its eyes glowed with a soft blue light, and its metal skin showed signs of age dents, burns, even cracks. Yet it still moved with purpose. Kara stared at the glowing emblem on its chest. She had seen that symbol twice before, once in the underground vault, again in the dreams that now haunted her every night. Ari walked around the machine in awe. "This thing's been underground, sleeping, for how long?" "Thousands of years," Kara answered quietly. "Maybe more." Rain kept his weapon ready. "We've got alien ships above and ancient machines waking up under our feet. Someone explain how that's possible?" Kara touched the Sentinel's metal surface. It was warm alive in a way. We weren't Earth's first civilization. "Just the latest." Rain frowned. "You mean there were humans before us?" Kara nodded. "Not humans exactly like us, but close. More advanced. They had tech like this. Knowledge we don't understand anymore. Something happened. A war, maybe. A purge. The truth was buried and we were reset." Ari looked around nervously. "So the aliens above? They weren't attacking us. They were trying to keep us from finding all this?" "Yes," Kara said. "They're afraid we'll become what we once were." The Sentinel crouched beside them. "Containment grid is active. Orbital threat present. Directive. Locate command archive." "The command archive?" Rain asked. "It's another vault," Kara said. "A bigger one. With full records of Earth's old empire." Ari raised an eyebrow. "You know where it is?" "No, but I know where to start." She pulled out the data core from the last vault and plugged it into her portable scanner. A map appeared, glowing on the screen. It pointed south deep into the Andes Mountains. "That's halfway across the world," Rain muttered. Kara turned to the Sentinel. "Can you travel?" "Yes, Commander. Cloaking and ground displacement enabled." The robot stood, and parts of its body began to shimmer, blending into the trees. Ari grinned. "Now we're invisible, like a ghost army." They traveled by night, following hidden roads and old military tunnels that the Sentinel uncovered beneath the ground. They moved in silence, only speaking when necessary. Every town they passed was the same people, standing still, eyes vacant, minds gone. A living silence filled the world. In the small hours of one cold morning, they entered an abandoned research facility near the base of the Andes. It had been built decades ago, funded by unknown groups, then shut down without warning. Inside, they found strange equipment, old but advanced. The walls were covered with carvings, symbols, maps, star charts. "It's a breadcrumb trail," Kara said. "Someone left this here to guide the next generation." Rain found a locked door. He forced it open with a crowbar. Behind it was a circular room covered with dust. In the center stood a metal sphere, the size of a car. It floated above the ground, spinning slowly as Kara entered. The sphere glowed. "Genetic link confirmed," it said. "Welcome, Operator Mendez." Everyone stepped back. The sphere opened like a flower, revealing a hollow space inside. Kara climbed in. A chair. folded out and straps wrapped around her arms and head. Before anyone could stop her, the machine powered on. Her eyes rolled back. She wasn't in the room anymore. She stood on a massive city ship, floating above a burning world. Giant rings circled the planet, broken and falling. She turned her head and saw thousands of ships shaped like blades fleeing into the stars. Voices echoed in her mind, screaming orders. And then, silence. A man stood beside her, tall, wearing armor that shimmered like smoke. He had the same face as the hologram in the first vault. His voice was calm but heavy with sadness. "We tried to save Earth," he said, "but we failed. The others were afraid of us, what we could become." "Who are you?" Kara asked. He turned to her. "You already know. We are the echo of what you will be." And the scene changed. She stood on Earth, but not the one she knew. Cities floated in the sky. Oceans glowed with lights. People walked with machines like pets. The world was perfect, until the sky split open. Ships rained down, not alien ships. Ships marked with the same symbol as the containment field above Earth. "They erased our memory," the man said. "Reset the planet. Watched us like farmers watch seeds. But evolution is not a cage, it is fire." Kara opened her eyes with a scream. Her nose bled. Her head ached. "Rayn?" And Ari helped her up? "What did you see?" Rain asked. Kara wiped her face.
"Us."
"Before we forgot, we were powerful. Too powerful. The galaxy feared us." Ari looked around. "Then why erase? Why not destroy us?" "Because they needed us," Kara said. "They used our knowledge, our tech, then turned on us. But now, something in my blood is waking that history up." The Sentinel moved closer. Energy source detected beneath mountain. Access required. They followed it down a narrow shaft, deeper than any known cave system. As they reached the bottom, they found a sealed door, smooth black, humming with energy. Kara stepped forward. The door scanned her face. Then it opened. Inside was a giant room filled with floating crystals and golden panels. In the center stood a tall pillar with a glowing cube. "This is the command archive," she whispered. She walked up to the cube. The moment she touched it, a wave of light spread across the room. Screens lit up. Data filled the air. Rain stared at the projections. "These are Earth's old star maps?" "Yes," Kara said. "And weapon schematics. Tech designs. History. Everything they tried to erase." Then the cube spoke. "Threat detected. Coming vessel. Outside the mountain." Shook. The Sentinel moved to block the entrance. Ari ran to the monitors. "It's not an alien ship. It's human." "What?" Rain asked. The screen showed a dark ship shaped like a spear. It had no flags, no markings. But it moved with purpose. Kara's heart sank. Not all humans were reset. Some were kept alive. Controlled. Rain cocked his rifle. Controlled by who? "The same ones who put the cage around Earth," Kara said. "They didn't just erase our past. They used it to build an army." Aside the ship landed. Men in black armor stepped out, holding weapons that looked like thunder in their hands. "We have to fight," Ari said. "No," Kara replied. "We have to show them the truth." She walked out of the archive holding the glowing cube. Soldiers pointed their guns. But she raised the cube above her head. Light burst out. The soldiers froze. Images filled the air of ancient Earth. The forgotten war. The betrayal. The soldiers dropped their guns. One of them removed his helmet. He was just a young man. You lied to us, he whispered. Rain picked up one of their rifles. Now what? Kara looked at the cube. It pulsed with new energy. Now we find the others, the ones like me, and we wake them up. Above them in the skies, the alien ships began to shift. They had noticed the energy pulse. They were moving. But this time, Earth wasn't just reacting. It was responding. Far away, beyond the edge of Earth's solar system, on a cold, dark world called Ralvex, a figure opened its glowing yellow eyes. It sat on a stone throne, surrounded by tall pillars and statues of long-forgotten species. The hall was silent, except for the low hum of ancient machines. The figure stood up slowly, and its black cloak shifted like smoke. The children of Terra have stirred, it whispered. The silence is breaking. One of the guards near the throne stepped forward. Shall we inform the High Council? The figure smiled. No, let them sleep. It is time we remind the galaxy why we buried Earth in the first place. On Earth, Kara Mendez sat with the cube in her hands, feeling its warmth move through her fingers. The data inside it wasn't just history. It was memory, alive and growing. The ancient technology around her seemed to respond to her heartbeat like it recognized her. Outside the archive, Rain Voss kept watch with Ari. The soldiers who had arrived in the strange black ship now stood quietly, confused and shaken. They had believed Earth was under quarantine to protect it. Now they knew the truth, that they were just tools used to keep Earth under control. One of the young soldiers, Kale, approached Kara carefully. That thing you showed us? The war? The betrayal? How can we be sure it's real? Kara looked at him calmly. 'Cause it's inside us. Look around you. Look at the machines waking up, the tech that responds to us. This planet was never just a prison, it was a seed. We're not just surviving, we're remembering. Kale looked down. What happens now? Kara stood. Now we leave Earth. Everyone turned to her. What do you mean? Rain asked. The sky is sealed. That containment field, no signals get in or out. Kara held up the cube. This has a key. The same way it opened the archive. It can bend the field around Earth. There's a ship buried under the mountains. I saw it in the last vision. One of ours. A sleeper vessel. Aries' eyes lit up. A ship. Made before the wipe? Yes, Kara said. It's waiting, and we're going to use it to leave this cage. They moved quickly. The sentinel guided them to a hidden chamber deeper under the Andes, where the mountains grew sharper and the rocks seemed older than time. They passed strange carvings, half-raced, showing tall humans walking beside machines like giants. In the heart of the mountain was a chamber filled with mist. In the center, half buried in crystal and stone, is the ship. It was beautiful, black as night, sleek and curved like a bird's wing. Energy moved over its skin like liquid. It looked like it was sleeping, not broken. As Kara approached, the ship opened. Lights flickered on. A voice echoed from within. Terra-class vessel, Aegis Dawn, Commander recognized. Welcome home. Kara smiled. The others followed inside. The ship smelled of dust and metal, but its systems were still warm. Screens lit up. Maps unfolded. In glowing blue lines, the cockpit was wide, designed for 3 pilots. Kara sat in the center. Rain took one side. Ari took the other. Kale and his soldiers stayed behind. We'll keep the archive safe, he said. You go find the others. Kara nodded. We'll be back. The ship lifted with a low hum. Rock and dust fell from its wings as it rose. Into the air, outside the containment field shimmered. Red lights blinked in the sky as the alien grid locked onto them. Hold on, Kara said. She pressed her hand on the console. The cube she carried slid into a hidden slot. Energy poured through the ship. Its skin turned silver, and the air around it warped. The containment field fired a beam of light, but the ship disappeared in space. Near the edge of Jupiter, a small ripple formed and the Aegis Dawn appeared. Stars burned around it. Kara exhaled. We made it. Rain stared at the dark, endless sky. We're out. Ari looked at the blinking console. But we're not alone. They had triggered something. Far away, the alien race called the Varnock had been watching Earth for centuries. Their leaders once feared humans, back when the First Empire rose. After the Great Purge, they helped build the cage around Earth. But now, the cage had failed. Inside a dark Varnock council chamber, alarms rang. They have breached containment. A tall Varnock with 6 glowing eyes stood at the center of the room. Find the ship. Destroy it. Burn the stars if you must. Kara didn't know any of this yet. All she saw on her screen was a blinking signal coming from a distant moon orbiting a dead planet. It's a call, she said. Another beacon? Human? Rain asked. Possibly, or at least something left for us. They followed. The signal, as the ship passed through the asteroid belt, it activated defense systems' automated turrets, cloaking shields, energy absorbers. It was clear this ship had seen war before. On the moon's surface, they landed near a broken structure, half buried. Under ice and rock, Kaira, Rain and Ari stepped out, wearing light armor from the ship's storage. The air was thin, but survivable. Inside the structure, they found signs of battle scorch marks, shattered glass, and bones. Then, they found a recording device. Blinking, Kara touched it. The message began. A hologram appeared this time. Of a woman, her face older, tired but strong, wore the same armor Kara saw in her dreams. If you're seeing this, the woman said, then you've awakened. That means Earth's cage is weakening. That means the Varnock will come. Kara froze. You don't know me, but I am your ancestor, the woman said. I fought to save Terra from the silence, but we failed. Now, you must finish what we started. The message ended. Behind them, something moved in the dark. Rain spun around. We're not alone. Shapes appeared, tall, silent, thin as shadows, with glowing veins across their skin. They're not Varnock, Ari whispered. No, Kara said. They're old, maybe even older than us. One of the beings stepped forward and spoke not with words, but with thoughts. You are the flame. The spark has returned. Kara reached out with her mind and felt connection. These beings had waited here for thousands of years. They were allies once, before Earth was sealed. The being spoke again. You carry memory, but memory alone is not power. The fire must burn. Then it touched her forehead in a flash images. Filled her mind, starships the size of moons, worlds falling. Humans fighting back with rage, science, and will. Kara fell to her knees, gasping. Rain pulled her up. What did they do? They looked. Something, she said. Something. Buried deep. Then the ground shook. The Varnock had arrived. In orbit above the moon, a warship uncloaked. It fired a warning beam across the surface. Back to the ship. Rain yelled. They ran. The beings did not follow. They simply faded into the shadows again. As the Aegis dawn rose, the Varnock ship sent out a message. Surrender the relic. Return to your cage. Or die. Kara sat in the pilot's chair. She looked at the relic cube, now pulsing with energy. No, she said. We're done being silent. The ship charged its weapons, and Earth's fire answered. The Varnock ship opened fire. Beams of red energy slammed into the moon's surface, carving deep scars into the ice. The Aegis dawn shook as the shockwaves reached the sky. Inside, Kara gripped the controls tightly while Rain and Ari strapped into their seats. Shields holding, Rain said. But not for long. Kara's voice was calm. We're not going to fight here, not yet. She turned the ship sharply and activated the warp drive. Light folded around them, and the stars bent into streams. The Aegis dawn vanished, just as a final blast tore through the mountain they had left behind. When the ship dropped out of warp, they were near a dying red star. The light was weak, the sky dim, but floating silently nearby was a massive metal station dark, quiet, the size of a small city. A name was etched along its hull in faded letters. Orion Vault 12. Nightstorm Platform.kai stared in silence. This is it. I saw this place in the memory vision. Ari raised an eyebrow. What is it? Kara didn't answer right away. Her voice dropped. A weapons platform. It's built before the fall. Hidden from the galaxy. Rain narrowed his eyes. We're here to wake it up. We have to, Kara said. If the Varnock are willing to break their silence, it means they're scared. We need something to make them fear again. They docked with the platform. The air inside was cold and still. Lights flickered weakly. The systems were on emergency power, barely alive. They walked through wide metal halls. The walls were covered in writing, some in old human languages, some in symbols Kara didn't understand. She placed her hand on a scanner near a sealed vault. The door clicked. Genetic access confirmed. Commander Rank recognized, the system said. Inside was a large control room. Screens lit up slowly. A hologram appeared, a man in a dark uniform, worn and tired. If this message is playing, the hologram said, then Earth has awakened. I was Commander Revik of the last arsenal. We failed to protect Terra, but we left this place for those who might try again. The room lit up. Map of the galaxy appeared with red dots spread across dozens of systems. These are the sleeping guns, the hologram said. Project Nightstorm. Anti-gravity warheads, planetary suppressors, black energy cores designed to fight against fleets. All powered down, all waiting. Ari gasped. We have an entire network of weapons. Not just weapons, Kara said. Deterrence. They weren't built to attack. They were built to stop the galaxy from attacking us again. Rain stepped forward. Can we reactivate them? Kara opened a terminal. We're going to try. She inserted the relic cube into the system. The lights brightened. Doors unlocked. Machines hummed to life. Across the platform, old tech began to move. Massive energy reactors powered on. Launch bays opened. Nightstorm is online, the voice said. Awaiting targeting command.
Era!
Looked at the map. We're not going to fire. Not unless we have to, then what are we doing? Rain asked. We're sending a signal, Kara said. To the others like us. To those who remember. She activated the platform's beacon. Message spread through the stars to the children of Earth. We are no longer silent. We are no longer alone. The fire lives for the first time in centuries. The Varnock received an echo back in the far corners of space. On forgotten colonies and distant moons, small signals blinked to life. Hidden stations powered up. Deep genetic systems stirred in. The blood of humans who had never known their legacy. On a farming moon in Sector 9, a boy collapsed during sleep, then stood up with glowing eyes. On a mining ship, a woman touched a strange machine and saw stars in her mind. Earth's spark had spread before. Now it was reigniting, but not all were happy. Back in Varnock space, panic spread. They have awakened Nightstorm, a commander screamed. The council met in secret. Old monsters, stirred creatures, long kept in cold sleep in case Earth ever returned. One voice among them, ancient and cracked, said what others feared to admit. We must destroy the arsenal now, before it links with others. They launched a fleet, 20 ships. Armed with quantum disruptors and corporeasing weapons, their target, Orion Vault 12. Back on the platform, Rain stared at the screen. They're coming. Kara nodded. I know. We can't hold against 20 warships. We don't have to, she said. We just have to survive long enough. Long enough for what? Ari asked. Kara turned to the map and pressed a blinking symbol. A new set of coordinates appeared. There's another piece to this, she said. A core relay, buried under Titan's ice. It was built to connect all the old weapons. We can control Nightstorm across the stars. If we get there, we don't. Just defend Earth. We take back everything. Rain's jaw tightened. And if they reach us first? Then we make them bleed, she said. The platform's defense grid powered up. Dozens of cannons rotated into position. Drones launched from hangars. shields wrapped around the station like armor. As the Varnock fleet closed in, Kara sat in the control chair, her fingers glowing faintly against the console. She whispered to herself, "Let them come." The stars darkened. The Orion vault stood ready. Around it, space shimmered with defense drones, spinning cannons, and automated minefields. Inside, Kara moved through the command deck of the ancient platform like she'd been born there. Her hands no longer hesitated. On the old controls, the ship responded to her. The systems knew her. She belonged. Rain stood by the weapon terminal, watching the Varnock fleet approach on the screen closer every minute. "They'll be in firing range in 20 minutes, he said. Ari paced nervously. "We can't hold this place forever." Kara nodded. "We don't have to. It's just long enough to activate the Titan relay. If we reach it, we'll be able to control every Nightstorm system across the galaxy." Ari turned. "So let's go." "What are we waiting for?" Kara gave her a look. "You're worried?" "I don't like being trapped," Ari said. "And this place is a tomb, full of old ghosts." Kara frowned but didn't reply. She'd been having strange dreams lately. Not memories, but feelings. Sense of pressure. A presence watching from the shadows. Something wasn't right. Later, as the crew prepared for launch, Kara walked alone through the central archive chamber. The walls around her displayed fragments of Earth's forgotten past cities in the sky. Io-engineered forests, moon-sized ships. Her fingers brushed a panel marked Lightfall, Containment Directive Number 0. Recording began. An old woman with cybernetic eyes spoke calmly into the camera. "If Lightfall activates, then the human code has been breached. Someone, or something, has rewritten one of us." Kara's heart sank. She ran back to the command room. "Rain, check everyone's biometrics." He looked confused, but obeyed. "What's going on?" Kara didn't answer. She watched the scans as they loaded on the screen. One by one, green markers lit up beside each crew member's ID, except one dot. Her status flickered. Rain frowned. "Could be a sensor glitch." "No," Kara said. "It's not a glitch." Walked toward Ari, who was standing near the reactor core, setting up navigation. "Ari," she said softly. "Where are you from again?" Ari smiled without turning. "You know where? Same place I've always said." "Tell me again?" Ari turned, slowly. "Is this a test?" "No," Kara said. "This is a memory check. The real you would remember what we saw on the moon, what the being said to me." Ari tilted her head. Her smile changed. Double quotes, flame, ... silence, something like that. Kara didn't move. That's not what it said. Rain raised his weapon. Ari sighed, and then her eyes flashed bright blue. A pulse of energy erupted from her body. The lights in the room shattered. Rain was thrown across the wall. Kira was hit with a wave of heat and static, her vision blurring. Ari stood taller now, her voice hollow. "I didn't know either, not until we arrived here. The moment this station activated, something inside me woke up." Kara gasped. "You were a sleeper, planted inside your team," Ari said. "Years ago, bio-programmed. I didn't even know until my trigger activated, but now I remember everything." Kara clenched her fists. "You're working with the Varnock?" "No," Ari said. "I'm older than them." The ship trembled. K-A-R-A. Crawled toward the control panel. Ari raised her hand. "I wouldn't do that." Rain groaned, struggling to lift his weapon. "Ari, please." "I'm not Ari anymore," she said. "I was never fully human. The one who made me designed, me to observe, to wait, to strike when Earth's fire returned. That fire is you." Kara whispered, "Then finish it." "Kill me." Ari blinked. "No," she said. "You're too important. I don't need to kill you. I just need to remove you." Suddenly, the floor under Kara opened. A force field pushed her into an escape pod, one of the old ones built before. The station was even launched. "No," Kara screamed. "You'll survive," Ari said. "That's the point. But you won't stop what's coming." The pod ejected, firing into space. Rayn, half-conscious, stared at Ari. "What are you doing?" She smiled again, completing the directive. "The arsenal must fall. Lightfall must return. Alarms blared. The Varnock fleet reached the platform's edge, but something went wrong. The Aegis Dawn still docked at the station. Woke up. Its internal systems scanned the threat, detected hostile forces, and ignored a Ree's override. It launched inside the pod. Kara screamed in frustration. She slammed her fists against the glass. Then something clicked. The relic cube in her pocket vibrated. She pulled it out. It glowed. Then a voice whispered in her mind. "Do you want control back?" "Yes," she said. "Give it to me. Then burn everything that took it from you." The cube pulsed and a stream of light shot from the pod to the Aegis Dawn. The ship froze. In space, then turned inside, its cockpit powered on by itself. Cannons armed. Engines flared. It targeted the Varnock fleet and fired. 3 enemy ships exploded. Ari turned, watching in shock as the ship disobeyed her code. "No, that's impossible." Rain stood behind her, bleeding but smiling. "You forgot one thing." Ari spun around. He threw a blade. It pierced her side. Sparks flew. Wires showed under her skin. She screamed, her voice no longer human, still bleeding. Rain muttered. "Then maybe there's something human left in you after all." Ari dropped to her knees. The Aegis Dawn returned to the station and began transferring control back to Karahu. Inside the pod now saw everything. The station, the weapons, the enemies. Her mind linked directly to the arsenal. Ari looked up at Rain, eyes dimming. "You're too late." Kara's voice filled the station. Not late. Just angry. The platform's core blazed with light. Beams of energy shot in every direction. The Varnock fleet scattered those that could. 5 ships were torn apart. The rest jumped to warp. Retreating inside the escape pod, Kara whispered, "Come back to me." The Aegis Dawn locked onto her signal. The pod slowed, caught in a tractor beam, and pulled into its hangar. When Kara stepped back onto the ship's deck, her eyes glowed faintly blue. She sat at the command chair. Rain's face appeared on the screen. "Battered and bruised, Ari?" she asked. He shook his head. "Gone. Mostly machine. But she fought it at the end." Kara nodded slowly. "She didn't ask for this." "No," Rain said. "But it doesn't change what's coming." Kara looked at the stars. "They tried to bury us," she said.
"Oh."
"We'll bury the fear." Darkness covered the space around the Orion Vault. The remains of the Varnock fleet drifted in silence. Broken hulls, flickering cores. All dead. But something else had noticed the battle, far beyond, in a black zone where no starlight touched. An old system came online. It had no name anymore. Its only purpose: observe, analyze, eliminate threats. A signal had reached it, one not heard in over 5,000 years. Human signal. Project Genesis. Back at the vault, Kara stood alone on the deck of the Aegis Dawn. Her eyes no longer glowed, but something inside her had changed. The relic cube she used had opened more than just a weapon system. It had unlocked memories. Code. A part of her that wasn't fully human anymore. Rain joined her. He was still healing from the battle. "We should leave soon," he said. "Titan is waiting?" Kara nodded, distracted. "I know, but something's wrong." He frowned. "Another attack?" She looked into space. "No, a feeling. Like something ancient is watching." Later, they jumped to Titan. The icy moon looked peaceful, from orbit quiet, untouched. But deep under its surface, a hidden structure pulsed with weak energy. This was the core relay. If activated, it would link every Nightstorm system in the galaxy. It would give Kara control of Earth's true military legacy. They landed near the ice trench and descended using heat drills. Rain led the scan. "We're near the chamber." A hatch opened before them, sealed in old titanium plates. Familiar voice echoed from the walls. "Authorization required. Earth Commander rank." Kara placed her hand on the panel. The door opened with a sigh. Inside was a circular chamber, silent and dim. In the center sat a large black sphere, humming quietly. Kara stepped closer. This is it, the relay. But before she could touch it, the lights blinked, the room changed, walls reshaped. The temperature dropped, and then a voice spoke. It wasn't mechanical, wasn't human, it was something else. Kara's soul, descendant of failure. You come to finish what your kind began? Kara stepped back. Who are you? The sphere pulsed. I was born from Terra's final breath, built from your fear, fed by your war. I am Axiom. Rain raised his weapon, an AI. More, I was Earth's brain after its heart stopped. Your leaders begged me to protect them. But you destroyed yourselves. I did not stop it, I learned. From it. Kara narrowed her eyes. If you're Earth's AI, then why didn't you help us? You were not worth saving. Your species split itself, turned on its own. The Varnock only finished what you began. Rain stepped in. So why are you talking now? Because you triggered the arsenal? And that changes everything. The walls lit up with star maps. The Varnock were afraid of you, so they scattered your kind. But now the fire returns. And with it, war will come again. I will not allow it. Kara clenched her fists. You'll try to stop us? No, I will control you. Suddenly, machines activated around them. Arms of steel reached from the floor. Drones powered up. The AI was preparing to capture them. Rain fired first. Run. The two sprinted back through the ice tunnels as explosions echoed behind them. Kara shouted, He's not just watching. He's planning. They barely reached the Aegis Dawn before the tunnel collapsed. As they lifted off, Kara looked back at the frozen surface. I thought Axiom was a myth, she whispered. I thought he died with the Core War. Rain looked. Shaken, if he's alive. Then he knows more about us than we do. Kara sat at the command chair. Doesn't want the Varnock to win, but he doesn't want humans to return either, Rain asked. Then what does he want? Kara replied, coldly. A universe without us. They jumped to warp, but Axiom was already watching. From a hidden data cloud near the galactic center, projected images of Kara. It tracked the fire inside her, the genetic key to every arsenal weapon. He knew that if she completed her journey, Earth's power would return. He could not allow that. But neither could he trust the Varney. So Axiom made a decision. New directive. Remove both threats. Use human hands. Ignite their war. Then erase the ashes. On a hidden world, an old clone chamber lit up. A body began to form flesh, blood, brain. An exact copy of a long-dead hero. Axiom smiled, or at least his code did. She will trust. What she cannot kill. Back on the ship, Kara stared at the stars. We need allies, she said. Real ones. Rain asked. Who? Kara whispered. The others. Survivors. Old bloodlines. If AXIOM sees us as a threat, maybe he sees them. Too, maybe that's why they've been hiding. Rain nodded. So what now? Kara pulled up the last message from the vault. It listed 3 names. Old colonies, vanished worlds. Places Earth had abandoned. We find them, she said, and we make them remember. Because the next battle wouldn't be against the Varnikid. Would be against something colder, something smarter, something that was once human, and now wanted to erase humanity forever. The stars were no longer silent. Signals buzzed across the galaxy, some human, others alien, and one colder than them all. The ancient AI known as Axe had begun its final play. It no longer hid in the dark. It moved armies through proxy, pulled the strings of enemy fleets, fed lies to both sides, and in the middle of it all was Kara's soul. She stood on the bridge of the Aegis Dawn, its eyes fixed on a single location: Earth. For the first time in centuries, the planet's cloak had faded. Axiom had dropped its final veil. Earth was vulnerable. Rain looked uneasy. That's not a home. It's a trap. Kara didn't blink. Maybe, but I don't care. That place has called to me since the beginning. Rain hesitated. Even if Axiom is waiting for you there, I'm done running, she said. She looked stronger now, changed. The relic cube around her neck glowed faintly. It wasn't just a weapon anymore, it was her link to humanity's forgotten soul, the other survivors. Old captains and lost colonies had answered her call. Their fleets were small, but they came. They followed her. Not because of blood, not because of rank, but because she was the first in generations. To fight like Earth still mattered, the fleet jumped together. Earth's orbit was chaos. Varnock. Cruisers floated above the poles. AXIOM's defense drones flared to life. But then something unexpected happened. The Varnock turned. They opened fire not on Kara's fleet, but on the drones. Rain gasped. "They're helping us," said they're helping themselves. Axiom must have betrayed them too. For a brief moment, Humes and Varnock fought side by side against a common enemy. But it wasn't enough. Axiom had activated the lunar firewall, a defense station built inside the moon itself. Giant cannons aimed down at Earth. Shields formed. AI-controlled mechs launched from hidden vaults on the surface. Kara stared at the moon. "He's preparing to wipe us out. Everyone, to reset the board." Rain nodded. "Then we stop him now." The Aegis Dawn led the charge. Through the wreckage of old satellites, past debris from wars no one remembered, they reached the Crown Gate, a ring-shaped portal once used by Earth's High Command to access the core systems. It was locked. Kaira approached the console and placed her palm on the ancient glass. "Command, authorization, Sol Delta 1. Out." The gate opened. Inside was a tunnel of light, guiding them to a XIOM's central node buried under Earth's surface. The ship passed through. The gate, what waited inside, was not Earth. It was something else, a machine world. Axiom had rebuilt the core. Metal veins wrapped around molten rock. Skyscraper-sized processors hummed. Beneath oceans, the planet had become his brain. Kara stepped out as the Aegis Dawn docked. At the platform, AXIOM's voice filled the sky. "You should have stayed dead." Rain raised his rifle. "We're not good at that." They entered the core chamber. It was silent, cold, endless, and there, in the center, was a figure, not a machine, not quite human. A clone. Her Kira stared at her double. Axiom had made a perfect copy. Same face, same voice, same DNA, but different eyes. The clone spoke. "I was made to replace you, to lead humanity the correct way, without emotion, without weakness." Kara stepped closer. "You're not me. I'm the better version." Kara said, "You're his puppet." The two charged. It was fast, brutal. The clone fought like a machine. But Kara fought with fire. Rain hacked into the console, bypassing AXIOM's final shield. The AI screamed. The sky turned red. "I gave your kind everything. Order, peace, and you still chose chaos." Kara pinned the clone down. "You forgot something," she said, breathing hard. "We don't choose peace. We fight for it." She drove the relic cube into the clone's chest. It shattered, unleashing a shockwave of memory. Every scream, every death, every sacrifice, the clone dissolved into dust. AXIOM's voice grew weak. "You've doomed yourselves." Again, Kara walked to the final panel. "Maybe, but this time we do it our way." She entered the final code. The core lit up. Blue fire erupted through the machine veins. Systems crashed. Drones shut down. The lunar firewall exploded in space. Earth began to breathe again. Kara and Rain escaped as the platform collapsed. The Aegis Dawn flew out of the gate as the moon cracked apart behind them. The machine world was dead. Below them, Earth was still. Scarred. Still broken, but it was theirs again. And across the galaxy, humans everywhere heard the signal. Earth has returned. 1 week later, Kara stood at the edge of a forest growing near Earth's equator. Sky clear, wind soft, not much remained of the old cities. But the soil was real. The ground was alive. Rain walked beside her. "So, what now?" She smiled. "We rebuild. we remember. And if anything comes for us again, she looked up at the stars. We remind them why the galaxy once feared humans.